All right, so in this video, we are going to talk about how to define your ideal customer. Now, this is something that I've touched on a few times when doing a few talks around the world, but I've never really gone into that much detail. So we're going to cover quite a bit of detail on this call about how to actually get started and the right sort of mindset to approach this part of your business with. And the outcome at the end of this video is to have a little bit more clarity about what are the next steps and who is it exactly that you are building your business to serve. And then more importantly, how do you communicate with your ideal customer in a way that will inspire them to take action and buy. All right, so let's get cracking. By the way, if you're watching this video, if you like what you hear and it's giving you some insights and you find it useful, please hit like down below. And also, if you have any either perspective to add or any questions, then please comment down below as well. And if you do have a perspective, a lot of people get value from the comments. So make sure to share, and it can help a lot of people besides yourself as well. So do that, and also hit subscribe so that you get more videos. I do 3 like this every single week. All right, so let's crack on. How do you define your ideal customer? Now, the first thing that we need to get crystal clear about is what exact problems, what pains or problems does your product or service solve? And if you haven't got a product or service yet, that's okay, like if you're in the really early stages of building your business, but recognize that there's gonna be a process of, working out who you want to go after, figuring out a product or service that either you can become an affiliate for. If you don't know what that is, don't worry too much at this stage. Either that you can become an affiliate for or that you can develop yourself. But once you've got that idea of a product, which is based off what your target market needs, then you're probably going to even further refine your target market based on the capabilities of your product. So it's not as simple as saying, all right, I've ticked that part of the process, I've done that bit, now I'm going to go on to the next part. You're often, bouncing back and forth between different points of your business, and customer avatar or ideal customer is one part of the business that will continually evolve and develop as you get more in tune with what your target market needs. All right, so pains or problems that your product solves, how does it make your customer's life easier? And you need to start getting very specific with this. So let's say, for example, that you sell, let's say you're an affiliate for online business education. And let's say that you say, oh, the pain is that my product helps my customer build an online business. And it's like, well, okay, that's what your product does. That's a feature. And you might even go as far as like feature and benefit, but that's not the pain that you're helping somebody to solve. Why does somebody want to build an online business? Why would they want that? Well, it might be that they're trapped in an unfulfilling corporate career. They've been working 20, 25 years in the same role and they're sick to death no matter what promotion they get. They end up in the same environment. They're looking at people ahead of them in the corporate ladder, seeing that they're unhappy, and they're realizing that they don't want to sacrifice the rest of their lives in this corporate rat race, building their boss's dreams instead of their own. But the problem is they've got bills to pay, they've got a family, they've got mouths to feed, and their lifestyle has reached a certain point where they can't just quit and start another career path because their earnings would go down too much. They can't go back to school and go to university because they don't have the free time, because they've got a full-time job and they've got a family, and they feel utterly trapped in this way of life, waking up with a feeling of dread, of sick pit in their stomach every Monday morning at the thought of another 5 days of the same endless crap. Right? That is more the pain that your customer is feeling. That's why they might look to build an online business, for example. They're trying to solve the pain in that area of their life where they're not happy. When you think of your ideal customer, think of the pains, think of the problems, and the deeper you get with this, the better. The level when you really start connecting with another human on an emotional level is when you're hitting the point of their deepest irrational fears, right? So again, in that example that I just gave you, the deepest irrational fears with that pain and problem might be that they waste their entire lives, they never see their kids growing up and their kids disappear and they don't have a relationship with their father. It could be that they end up trying to quit their career and they lose their house, they lose their job, they lose their wife, they lose their family, they lose everything. What are the deepest irrational fears that are going on at a subconscious level that are keeping them trapped in this dynamic? And the absolute golden point to get to is if you want to inspire and influence and help somebody and empower somebody to take action in your marketing, in your business, if you can help somebody realize or help somebody feel that you understand their problems better than they understand themselves, they will follow you as a leader who has the solution to their problems. Right? And I'll say that one more time because it is super powerful. If somebody feels that you understand their pains and problems better than they do, they will follow you as a leader who can help them solve those pains and problems. And that level of connection only comes from you being able to put yourself in the mind, in the headspace of your ideal customer and really feel what they're feeling and communicate that in a way where you yourself are relating maybe to a story in your own life where you've experienced it, gone through it, maybe a story of somebody that you know, maybe a story of one of your other customers and how they went through this pain and then came out the other side with the solution. And there's many different formats, which I'm not going to go into in this video, but ways of portraying that message either in adverts, content, etc., etc. Hero's Journey is a format that I'll often use in my stuff, so you follow a specific process with your messaging that connects with human beings on a subconscious emotional level. But you've got to remember that at the center point of all of it, of understanding your ideal customer, it's the pains, it's the problems, it's the fears. Those are the areas that you connect with other humans, that you form that relatability. And when you've got that connection, that is when you can influence to help people and inspire people to take action on finding the solution to their pain and problem. And that's where you come in. And so after you've gone through that process, and by the way, quick tip, if you already have existing customers, the most valuable asset that you have in your business to understand your ideal customer is speak to your customers. If you can talk to them and learn more about them and learn more about like the problems, the pains, what they're experiencing in their life that your product can help solve, the more you learn about them and about what they're going through, the more you can connect with similar people who are going through that. So speak to your customers. Massively, massively powerful thing to do in your business. And so once you've got that idea of who's your ideal customer, who is it that you're looking to serve with your product and service, the next stage is to start thinking about or actually going through the journey of what would your ideal customer do to solve their pain and problem. So again, we're talking about the online business education example. Let's say they've had another day at the office where their boss has just had a go at them because they missed an important deadline or their team didn't deliver, and they've just felt like that feeling of I can't do this anymore. I hate that I have to keep showing up in this environment where I don't want to be, and I've got this pressure and I'm feeling stressed and everything else that's going on. They've got all of this happening. They've had a crap day. They come home in the evening and they're like, right, I've got to find a way out of this. I need to do something because I can't do another 20 years like this. And so they open their laptop and they go on Google and they start typing, well, what would they start typing? And this is where you get in the headspace of your ideal customer. What would they type? Go on Google. Type in, how to change careers, right? What thought process would they go through? They go, how to change careers. And then when you type that in, what comes up in the search results? What articles do they see? What do they start reading? How do they feel when they're reading those articles? So you click as if you were them, go through the journey as if you were them. And they read an article, what do they learn? Maybe they read an article that talks about, the choice is either you go back to school, you get qualifications, you do 3 years at university or open university in part-time, or there's people online who are building online businesses. So then they go, okay, well, they might type how to start an online business. And then when do they type that? When they type that, what comes up then, right? What articles do they read? What do they learn? Maybe they learn about affiliate and e-commerce. And so they start to get a bit of an idea of they're trying to find the solution to their pains and problems. And the value of this exercise, of you going through this as your ideal customer, is that you start to see at what points in this buying cycle, essentially, at what points in their journey can you start to appeal, right, and slip into that process with a specific message that meets them exactly where they're at and positions your product or service as the solution to their pain and problem that they're trying to solve. And again, so won't go through it on this video, but cold, warm, and hot traffic, depending on the platform that you're targeting, depending on the search terms, the keywords that you're targeting, depending on how you're positioning yourself. There's many different factors that will determine how you get in front of your customers and at what point. But whether they're cold, which means really early on in the buying cycle, maybe they're not even aware necessarily that they have much of a problem yet, or they've just started to become aware that they have a problem and they've maybe just started to look for the solutions. That would be cold. And then warm would be they've started to uncover solutions, but maybe they're not really sure about which one's the right one, or maybe they've just started looking at a few different potential products or companies that can help them. That would be warm. And then hot would be something like someone is typing in a specific review of an exact company, and they're looking at other people and testimonials for that company. So that means they're obviously ready to make a buying decision on that company, and they're just going through looking at other people's opinions, right? So if someone typed that would be hot. So cold, warm, and hot is different types of traffic at different points in the buying cycle, and obviously you would meet them with different messages if you're going to connect with them. So for example, if someone's looking already at reviews and testimonials of a specific company that does online business education, and you then put an advert in front of them that talks about, hey, have you considered online business versus real estate as a solution? They're all the way over here, and you're advertising back there. So they're already further along than that, and therefore that message wouldn't connect because you've met them at the wrong point in the buying cycle. Again, I'm not going to go through all of that on this video. It's a big topic. It's too deep to cover. But if you do want to learn more about this, there's an online business education company that I'm partnered with, or one of my companies is partnered with, and you can go through a free video series training that starts to explain all of this stuff about traffic, about business models, about how to build an online business. Top right hand corner of this video or in the description just below. Click one of those and you'll see a link to access a free video series training from the co-founder of an education business that one of my companies is partnered with. Right, that goes through this in more detail. Anyway, ideal customer. So if you've gone through a bit of a journey as your ideal customer, then you've started to get a feel for how to get the right message in front of the right person at the right time based on their pains and problems. And what you can then do is make sure that you're building the right message, whether it's in ad copy or whether it's in video format, but you're building the right message that's going to meet someone at the right time with the right intention. And intention is absolutely key, because when you really start getting a message in front of your ideal customer, we've got to be doing it from a space of inspiration, not manipulation. And the distinction between the two is, what is your intention? Is your intention to help and provide value, in which case you'll be automatically going down the inspiration route? Or is your intention purely, I want to make money and I want to get sales and I don't care whether it's right for someone or not? In which case you're going to go down the manipulation route. And the two paths, one of them is sustainable in the long term, and the other one is absolutely not sustainable in the long term. And again, in this video, I'm not going to go through in detail about that, but the point that I want to highlight is you've got to get your intention right when you're focusing on your ideal customer. Why is it? How is it that you can help? And is your intention genuinely to help make someone's life better? If yes, great. That's going to bring you down the inspiration route over the manipulation route. And final point on all of this, as a top tip, is to get specific with your messaging, with your ads. Too many people, when they're starting a business, will go down the route of having, a great product or a great service, and it helps different people with different problems and in different niches. And what they'll start doing is they'll do what I call feature dumping, which is where in their ad, whether it's written content or video content, they start listing all the people it can help and all the great things it can do for all these different people. And what happens is you end up diluting your message, because each person that views your content is going to generally have one problem that they're looking to solve, maybe two, but one problem that they're looking to solve. And when you start feature dumping, you end up isolating yourself as not the right solution, right? Somebody wants to buy a product that solves their pain or their problem. They don't want to buy a product that solves 8 different pains or problems, of which 7 are not relevant to them. Because that feels, as a human being, when you make a purchasing decision on something like that, it feels that you're buying something of which the majority is not relevant. You don't want that. You want to buy something which is entirely relevant to solving the pain or problem you're trying to solve. And a mistake that so many business owners make is they start feature dumping and listing all the things that their product can do and all the stuff that it can help, all the problems it can help solve, and they end up just diluting their message and putting people off because they're not specific enough, right? So you're targeting and what you do to help a particular type of customer, that messaging thread is focusing on one pain, one problem that you are the solution for. If you get that right, it's going to go a long way towards helping you dial in and empower and inspire someone to take action. All right, so if you've liked this video, hit like down below. Also, don't forget to comment if you've enjoyed it or got a perspective to share. And finally, you should see in the bottom corner right now, subscribe. Hit that. I do 3 videos a week. Thanks very much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.